with them, it's either you're dead or you're in prison. This government, you're going to change, big man. Fish to our fiat, I'm going to come office. Fish to our fiat. Why me? Missing. I can't even white one this honor. Where is why me? Hey, change, tell us with your government, where is why me? Give us why me. Justice for why me, big man. Watching on my church. What are the push that make a good to push our gum? That's why they come for the big man. Why you think? I know what that. Something to say, man. What is that to appoint? Mujala Jesu. It's a Zambia. Come on, I'm waiting for. Come on, I'm waiting for. I'm objection for God. Oh, we take the toilet. But don't let the lama. I'm a Salamush. No, you can take her. But I pump her today. No, you can take her. I'm a number one. Oh, full up, I'm full up. Oh, full up, I'm full up. I could go down there. Oh, full up, I'm full up. Oh, full up, I'm full up. I could fuatica. Oh, full up, I'm full up. Oh, full up, I'm full up. I could fuatica. Oh, full up, I'm full up. Oh, full up, when you die, I go away. Oh, full up, I'm full up. Oh, full up, I'm full up. I call a man. Oh, full up, I'm full up. Oh, full up, I'm full up. If they are gone. Oh, full up, I'm full up. Oh, full up, I'm full up. When you. Oh, full up, I'm full up. Oh, full up, I'm full up. Mayona batata. Ba mayona batata. Ba youthi. Tendwisuli amenso. Batu sendela nomba batu ipaila na hope Yesu. Endika chabalungu watu bela tinali mkwatila plan B. Nomba tu adishiba plan B aba mmino ya kualesa. Bantu banga abala fa mucharo chesu cha Zambia. Nibanga bantu abala abducted mucharo chesu cha Zambia. Bambire kuli jeje banda. Nibanga bantu abala ba prison. Abena chitotela chilangwa. Wote wa prison netunguru shina shimbi. Muri wa government ya kwa echechi. Abantu naba famweleza. Aikata nomba baikata na kuyetika chakwa lungu watukwatile plan B. Abakubo byabyo omufulo big man. Mufulo pa mufulo. Bilabine batsetela yetika chakwa lungu. Abanomba bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Bakuvota bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Bakufuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Bakufuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. When you die at way. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. I call a man. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. If they are gone. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Yakuliati kwenyu. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. HH does not mean well for Mother Zambia. Zambia to whatever. Now this is not the Mother Zambia that we were left with by our ancestors, our forefathers who fought so hard to liberate us. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Nalumino Mundia, Mama Julia Chikamoneka, Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe, they fought so hard to put this country on the map, to put this country where it is today. No man would destroy this country because we believe in unity. One Zambia, one nation, and we shall together we will change, and we are going to change this government. My name is Blaze Zambia.
We want to set a precedent. Let them give us reasons why the current president should not go near the casket. And who has told them that he wants to be near the casket anyway? Who has told them that he wants to be near the casket? If they want to say he shouldn't see the body, but who has told them that he wants to see the body? Why these speculations?
Maybe it's because you're arguing that really this must happen. Maybe that's why
it's assumptions. Even the court was asking them, presiding. The court was asking. Their lawyer couldn't explain. Presiding. You yourselves, in your written notes, you were saying Bishop Alec Banda should preside. So why are you now saying the president will preside? You yourselves. So what is presiding? They couldn't explain. What?
Or may I ask the question as I conclude? When will President Edgar Lungu be buried? 8 months after he died. That's unchristian, and that's against the culture, and that's against the value. Madam Speaker, with those few words, I thank you.
Sorry, Honorable Member for Matero, you even make us laugh as if that is a joke that you are throwing. It's a serious matter. I thought the court was in your ball, being the leader of that side. Why can't you bring the body so that it can be buried? We have all got a role to play, but I think you have a bigger role to play for purposes of bringing the body. So we are waiting upon you, Honorable Member for Matero. No, we want to say something. You have exhausted your time, have you? Or you still have 25 seconds. Proceed.
Madam Speaker, may I conclude by appealing to government, especially the Minister of Justice and the Vice President. May they withdraw the case in the South African court so that we can bury President Edgar Lungu, so that this country can move on. May they speak to Attorney General Kabesha to withdraw, and then we bury our president. He's your president, former president, our former president, so that this country moves on. Unprecedented, the whole world. 8 months, a former president.
Thank you.
Let's unite on this and ensure we bury our president. Thank you.
Your time is done. Honorable Member for Matero, if there is anyone who can withdraw the matter, it's the appellants. The Edgar Lungu, Ichagua Lungu family who can withdraw. They are the ones who have gone to court. So how can the Vice President or the Minister of Foreign Affairs withdraw a matter which they did not start or they didn't bring? Get your facts right.
Good day. Welcome to today's broadcast. Today we're privileged. We are hosting Honorable Makebi Zulu, former MP for Malambo. Malambo, they say Malambo in Eastern Province, in Mfue District. He was also Eastern Province Minister. Is a renowned Lusaka lawyer, constitutional lawyer, and he just won the poll together with Honorable Harry Kalaba. The 2 polls we've had, we're going to have the last one on Wednesday, but he's done very well in the last 2 polls. Welcome to this platform, EMV. We've just won an international award. We are being recognized as the best podcast on political matters in Zambia. We are also being recognized as a source of serious news and news analysis from people Southern Africa and others looking for news about Zambia. We don't take that for granted. In fact, my technical team have said, how can I be #1 and I'm not benefiting from this? The posters that rated this podcast give information to advertisers, marketers, and others that would like to have information. And then on verified and credible news, we are among the top 5. And among them was ZMBC. I'm ranked alongside ZMBC for whatever propaganda ZMBC does. Is among the top source of credible news in Zambia. And this platform is among the top 5. So we are grateful that you're following a credible platform. It's yet to grow more. We are on Spotify, we are on Amazon, we are on X, we are on TikTok, we are on YouTube, we are on Facebook. So we broadcast in multiple platforms, up to 15 platforms every time I'm doing a simulcast. Even this simulcast, you can catch us up on any of those forums. So I'm hosting Honorable Makebi Zulu, renowned lawyer, and let me take time to bring him over. He welcomes you, and we understand where he has been. Honorable Makebi Zulu, welcome to today's broadcast, and thank you for joining us, and thank you for sparing time from your very busy schedule, very busy campaign period. We are supposed to have a candidate from the Patriotic Front, but you've taken time away from there to be with us. We don't take it for granted. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, and I'm happy to be here so we can converse over many things that have happened in the recent past. Like you have said, we've been quite busy going around the country, listening to people, talking to people. It's been a great experience, and yeah, we're happy to share our experience with
Thank
everyone out
Thank
there.
you. I thought you'd congratulate me for this international award.
Congratulations for the international award. And by the way, you referred to Malambo as Mfuwe district. It's Mambwe district. Mfuwe is a constituency in Mpika. Yeah, boys in Chinga rather. Yes. So yeah, it's Mambwe district.
No,
but congratulations on your award. You're doing very well. And thanks for ambushing me. You had ambushed me last time.
Let's go to the gist of the matter. The last time I saw you and you came to this platform was the day you filed in your nominations at the PF Secretariat, and you had a huge mass of people that turned up to support you. That was the last time that we saw you. Please give us an update where we are, and we just see pictures of you touring various provinces, meeting various stakeholders. Just walk us through that process.
Well, thank you very much, Ambassador. And like I said, it's been a great experience. From the time we expressed interest at the Secretariat, you know, the number of people that came there, the solidarity that was expressed, we were really grateful. But prior to that, obviously, you saw me engaging various people, amongst whom we had State Council, John Sangwa. You saw me talking to Mlenga Kapwepwe. I, of course, had a conversation with my colleague, Mr. Harry Kalaba, Honorable Harry Kalaba. We spoke to quite a number of people, political players. President Nason Musoni of All People's Congress, we had a chat with him. And of course, we had internal discussions amongst ourselves within the Patriotic Front Party, and several engagements. We've engaged chiefs, we've engaged structures, discussing an array of things that we think go to the very root of the proper governance of this country. We are in an era where we think governance is by trial and error. We are under a government that came that was birthed on a cradle of falsehoods, and now they have run out of lies to tell. And there's need for alternative leadership that brings hope to the people, leadership that answers to the aspirations of the people. And the call to leadership that came from people that we responded to is a call to put things straight, to realign Zambia, to reunite Zambia, to address economic issues that we have discovered or continue to discover even as we go into different provinces touring the country. One of the first places I went to was Eastern Province. You may have noticed that when I went into Eastern Province, got to my home in Eastern Province, there was that harassment from the police where they thought it was illegal assembly as usual. In this era, we have an attempt to stifle dissent an attempt by this present government to ensure that we do not communicate our views. You saw how that my house was raided by police officers coming and stating that no one should have gathered at my place, which was wrong on their part, because if people are going to visit you, you don't determine how many people are going to visit you. And when people are visiting, they don't pass by the police to say, we are coming to visit you, or we are asking for permission, or indeed we are notifying you that we are going to see Makebi. Nothing of that sort happens. And when people come, you don't chase them away and say, you go back to your homes, this is going to be illegal assembly. So we have had this jitteriness or fear on the part of the government that we would be able to communicate and speak to different people messages of hope in a hopeless situation that we are in right now. And that is what we have been doing, communicating a message of hope, a message of unity to the people out there. You saw how that even when I visited chiefs in Eastern Province, the people that sought to stop me from visiting the chiefs were the police again. We saw that not only in Eastern Province, in Northern Province, it was the same, where the police were ever on our tail. Everywhere we go, the police are ever on our tail. In Western Province, I must say thanks to the Barossa Royal Establishment for announcing and saying that they were there to receive everyone, whether they were from the opposition and or from the government. They were there to receive everyone, and they didn't want any in that process. We had some peace in Western Province, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Barossa Royal Establishment for being very clear that all politicians, everyone, we are all their children, and they can receive us at any given point. But I must highlight a couple of things. The time we were in Eastern Province, that's a time when we could see that there were queues by Indo-Zambia Bank farmers waiting to receive monies for the crop that they had supplied sometime last year to FRA. We witnessed those problems that they were facing them, even after promises by government that they would pay them, but they were not to be paid, or at least there was delay in paying them. When government said that the monies were in the banks, there was no money in the banks, and yet people were made to sleep on queues. Times when the government was saying that they had reserves of up to $5 billion in the bank, but still people were not getting paid out there, because obviously money has been misappropriated, misallocated, and farmers were made to wait for a very long time. Even after the planting season was over, most of the farmers were not paid. You may know that the agricultural sector has not been doing very well under the UPND government. Seed that ought to have been given to the farmers, they never got the amount of seed that they needed. They were sharing in cups. It was in Eastern Province, in Katete in particular, where women from a cooperative who complained that they were not given sufficient fertilizer, sufficient seed, and were seen sharing in cups and medals what they had received as fertilizer as well as seed. Those were arrested. They were arrested for complaining. So you see that we have a government where pronouncing their failures is an offense. It has not only happened in this particular case. We've seen many other opposition leaders who, when they speak, it's either seditious practices or indeed hate speech. We have seen that throughout our political scene for the last 5 years now, or at least getting to 5 years. So the situation in Eastern Province, right now, I heard the president right at Nchwala promising a university in Eastern Province. It's quite laughable. I'm saying this because when we went to Western Province, we were told there was a promise of a university in Western Province. And the promise from President Hakainde Hichilema is that the university was going to be built not in the first term, and not in the second term, but within the first term. They got the first term, there's no pebble that has been put in Western Province to show that indeed they are going to work on a university. And yet he goes and promises a university, a public university in Eastern Province. As regards universities, again, in Northern Province, when we visited Northern Province, there was a university that a contractor had been found, they had started the construction works, and that was stopped. That was stopped to say that they were investigating things to do with the payment of funds. Then you wonder, you promise a university in your first term in the Western Province, you stop the building of a university in Northern Province, then you go and promise a university in Eastern Province in your last 6 months, or at least 5 months before you are kicked out of government. That is fooling people. That is not being candid with people. It is a culture of lies that has been perpetuated by this government. Our Eastern Province, the comparative advantage of Eastern Province is agriculture. And the farmer out there in Eastern Province, none of them can say that during this tenure of the UPND, they have enjoyed the supply of inputs to them. Even when they were promised 8 bags of fertilizers, even when they were promised more seed, even when they were promised that it would be better because the person that was coming on board said he was a farmer and that he would make sure that farming was going to be a business for them to create wealth. What has happened? The farmer has become more poor. And now it is time to put a president who is going to put the farmer first. And that president is available. And that president is in Makebi, Zulu. We are determined to ensure that we transform the agricultural sector, mechanize it. It doesn't matter where we start from. It could be the handheld machinery, diesel powered or indeed petrol powered, but a farmer must be able, within the farmer input support program, to be able to access such machinery so that we move from hand hose to mechanized farming. We need to do that. We need to take advantage of our irrigation system, or at least the water that we have, and introduce irrigation system that will benefit from the water that we have. We have water that runs away every season. When we could dam specific places, the government, or at least under PF, we had started the process of dam construction, because the idea was that in and out of season, we must have crop all year round. We need to move to that as a country. Malawi will always feed from Zambia. Congo will always feed from Zambia, and we need to take advantage of that. We moved from there. Of course, we visited the Copper Belt at some point where issues of small-scale miners were rife. The idea of simply stopping small-scale miners for purposes of benefiting large conglomerates is what is killing the Copper Belt. The small-scale miners are crying for an opportunity to be able to benefit from the mineral resource. Government has stopped most of these endeavors by the young people on the Copper Belt under the pretext that it was unsafe, under the pretext that they were going to bring in better or indeed bigger investors. In this particular case, why don't we do what Ghana did? They formalized the artisanal mining sector, created a way to ensure that there was safety in the mining in that sector, created a way of collecting taxes that would benefit both the artisanal miners, or indeed the taxes that were reasonable enough to benefit the country and enable the artisanal miners to continue. We cannot afford as a country to create jobs for everyone, but the available opportunities, we can make a way that a legal framework is created under which the artisanal miners on the Copper Belt in Northwestern province are able to benefit from that work, from mining within safe environments, create cooperatives, put up safety measures, put up good ways of supervising under the Ministry of mines. Ensure that there is environmental protection in the process. Just these strict measures, but still allow the artisanal miners to go and mine in a safe environment, in a sustainable way. Then you'll be able to create jobs. You won't have situations that have been going on the Copper Belt continuing. We move to Northern Province. In Northern Province and in all these other places, you will see that there are a lot of works that were begun under the previous, the PF government, that have been stopped by this government. The building of a hospital in Northern Province that was going to benefit Luapula Province, Northern Province, as well as Mchinga was stopped. The building of that university I referred to, is it Ntumba or Ntumba University, was stopped. A facility that was going to help the people in that particular area. District Hospital in Kasama, well, that was not to be. District hospitals around the province that were promised, or that at least that the PF government had started, those works came to a halt. You see that happening, and the complaints that are coming from the chiefs, roads that were started and stopped along the way for no apparent reason, or at least sometimes for a very lame reason. You may have noticed that some time back, the Minister of Infrastructure referred to the Chipata Vubi Road as not being economically viable. Now, if you're going to look at it from the perspective of only constructing roads because they're economically viable, and not understanding that the viability of a place economically has to do with being able to access that place. When people are able to easily access Vubi, then it becomes economically viable. It's an issue of egg and chicken, which comes first. Accessibility should come first, then the economy of a place is improved, because it will be easier to get to those places. People will not be worried about their vehicles getting damaged to get to those places. And when you get to those places, you increase traffic. People will need a filling station in that place. And commerce will improve in that particular place. These are the issues that this government has not taken into account. Even when they found plans for building of roads in these different areas, most of them were abandoned under the pretext that they were not economically viable. That should be stopped. We need to get back to the drawing board, give accessibility to the people, build roads that we need to build. In the West, there was a complaint as regards the road. The only road that will get you to Western Province, or indeed Barosiland, is this road from Lusaka, get you there. From there, you can't go anywhere else. The roadways that were done under PF are the same roads that are there. There's nothing new that has been done. The only thing that this government did was just complete the Mulunga Mongu Road, the road to the palace. That's the only road that they completed. They've been working on an 87-kilometer road for the last 2-3 years. Whether or not they'll finish it within the course of this year, that's not to be known. The onset of the rains obviously have disturbed. But obviously, to come and do things for purposes of an election in these provinces is what is draining the steam from the people, or at least the belief in the UPND. We've had all these experiences. Came to Luapula. Luapula is a place that can thrive. It's a place that can add economically to this country. It is a place that is mineral resourced, properly mineral resourced. It's a place that this government has neglected. Schools that were to be built have not been built, or indeed have been abandoned. Roads that should have been constructed have been abandoned because they have not been prioritized. In terms of education, in all these places that we've gone to, yes, the government says we are providing free education, but how come the teachers are not there? How come the places that you are providing education in are too few? The teacher-pupil ratio is too high. You wonder when you start saying that the grades are too low. Particularly, you talk of Western Province and say it has performed poorly. Why has it performed poorly? You, the government, must be able to answer those issues. Look at the teacher pupil ratio. Look at the quality of teachers that you're taking there. Sometimes we may not even talk about the quality of teachers. What about the amenities, or indeed the accommodation for the teachers, where they're supposed to be living, the conditions in those areas, in those rural areas? What are the conditions of the teachers? When they get there, will they have access to clean water? Will they have access to proper sanitation? Will they have access to proper accommodation? Will they have access to proper teaching materials? Will they have access to communication? All those are things that should be prioritized and worked on. You can't necessarily say they've performed poorly and lament that they've performed poorly without getting to the root cause. And something that was disheartening that we got to learn of in Western Province is the issue of animal husbandry. Western Province, a lot of people depend on rearing cattle in that place. When PF was in power, about 11,000 cattle were dipped. Deep tanks were put in different places. When this government came on board, they abandoned the issue of vaccination. They abandoned issues of dipping the animals. Instead, when they went there, they said we need to slaughter all the cattle in Western Province because of bovine pleural pneumonia that they had referred to, things that were not necessarily things that they could possibly be in control of if they acted earlier, or indeed if they took measures right now to keep the spread of bovine pleural pneumonia. You had all those issues brought, and the only way it was saved is because the Kuta, the Barroso Royal establishment, stood and said, you cannot do that. You cannot kill all the animals in Western Province, which was a good thing. But even with that, you have big companies going there to buy beef. Was it an issue of disadvantaging the province? Was it an issue of allocating business elsewhere? Because right now, I can tell you, the cheapest place where you buy cattle from is Western Province. The cattle that is there is providing employment for most of the people. Why don't we look at that comparative advantage? Go there, invest in the people, invest in your own people, provide veterinary services in every district, make these medicines available for the farmers to access. That should be part of the farmer input support program. It should not just be about growing crop, or it should even go into animal husbandry. Those are the things that we came across in our roundup of the provinces. And of course, there's more that we need to talk about.
Thank you for a summary of your tour. Thank you, Honorable Makebi Zulu. Dear viewers, we are hosting former MP for Malambo, former Eastern Province Minister, former, is also until recently was a spokesperson for the late president and his family, and he's been a family lawyer. We'll get to that, but he's a PF presidential aspirant, and let's come to that. The Patriotic Front has been deplatformed. Legally, the ownership remains elsewhere, with expelled MP Robert Chabinga, who was even pledged to go to the UPND. But of shock to many people is that the Patriotic Front has remained largely intact despite breakaways, despite sustained attack from the state. You were supposed to have a general conference and we were supposed to have a leader by today. Just walk us through the issues surrounding the general conference and the current status of the Patriotic Front.
It's been an interesting journey when you talk about the Patriotic Front Party. Right from the start, immediately after the Patriotic Front government lost power to the UPND, took over, then the fight for the heart and soul of the party began. Firstly, it was about crippling every member of the PF who was seen to be well off, who was seen to have some form of wealth. There was that witch hunt against everyone. Then they went for the heart of the party to ensure that they take it away and ensure that it does not appear on the ballot. Now, PF is demonized. PF is said to be corrupt. PF is said to be evil. PF is said to be everything that's not right, at least by the standards of the UPND. And having won by over 1 million votes, the fear of PF has been rife. It has been rife because they know that the accusations against the PF are ordinarily false, or at least the majority of the accusations are false. Because you can't say that the PF was bad and you still accept its people. Let me give a little analogy. When Chavinga was said to be the leader of the Patriotic Front Party, at last year's Nchwala ceremony, with the president there putting his hands together, listened in to Chavinga, when Chavinga said PF was in an alliance with the UPND. That was welcome by the president. It was welcome that this Chavinga-led PF is in an alliance with the UPND. If indeed PF was bad, if indeed PF was that evil, and I was president, I would say, no, I will not be equally yoked with the corrupt. I will not relate with the PF. PF is a fiction, as it were. It's a fiction in that it is not just a name. It is the people that constitute it, that make up what PF is. Why would you say PF, in terms of the name, is bad, but its people are good? Look at what has happened in this year's Nchwala, where most of the MPs lost UPND, and now they're on rampage trying to ransack the membership of PF to join the UPND. In my language, there's a saying that manchinchi, omkana na mangalabake. Now, what does it mean? An owl, no matter how bad you think an owl is, you can't say feathers of an owl, but the owl is evil. If you're going to accept an owl, you will accept it with its feathers. If you're going to reject it, you will reject it with its feathers. You can't say the PF is bad, but its people are good, because they're the ones that constitute the PF. So we have had that. Now there is this issue of
Thank you. I seem to have Honorable Makebi Zulu has frozen. We have good network both here and in Zambia, so we shouldn't have any freezing or any of that. We have reliable internet, so I don't understand. But Usoja on for dear viewers, we are hosting Honorable Makebi Zulu, PF presidential aspirant, PF is recently just won the EMV poll that we were conducting. This is a poll that is a 3-part series. He won the first one. The second one was won by Honorable Harry Kalaba. We had a list of top 7. And he's just been telling us about his tours in the province, and we are currently tackling the question of PF when the network misbehaved from the other side. Share the broadcast. I can see we have a huge turnout on most platforms. Share the broadcast. We are hosting Honorable Makebi Zulu. We will open the phone lines later after we are done with the preliminary issues that we are discussing. And we hope that you'll be able to ask Honorable Makebi Zulu of any issue that you want to ask him. Join, share. So far, there's a good turnout on many platforms. Continue to share. Let's hear what Honorable Makebi Zulu will tell us.
Now, Zambian President Edgar Lungu says corruption in his country is being politicized and that he is working to improve the country's legal framework. Here is part 2 of a conversation the president had with VOA's Peter Clotty in New York.
So, Mr. President, one of the promises you made to Zambians is to root out corruption. How would you rate yourself in the fight against graft in the Republic of Zambia?
Well, you rate me after, because for Zambia, unfortunately, the fight against corruption has been politicized. It's become a special vehicle for those who seek political office to make their friends look very ugly. I have given latitude to the institutions mandated by law to investigate, prosecute, and bring to an end or reduce corruption. I have not tampered with them. I have not called them to my office to say, can you target that man because he's a threat to my political life and so on. I think on that score, I have given them space. And I've lobbied for funding for them from cooperating partners. I've lobbied, they've been given training programs. And I think apart from that, if you give me evidence that this one has gone astray, he's on the wrong side of the law, I'll work on him. But I can give you examples of people who have used it in the past to say, oh, XY is corrupt, can you deal with him? And I want to cite one example of a minister who was relieved of his appointment because he was ready to be corrupt. What happened is they gave me the information, the Financial Intelligence Center gave me the information, and I think other wings of government gave me information that XY, your minister, is guilty of corrupt practices. I said, oh, well, probe him. And that's what I'm supposed to do. And they probed this guy. And along the way, the guy said, you can't probe me, I'm a minister. And he kicked these guys in their backs. They came crying. You know, they said, look, that minister is bullying us. In short, he's not cooperating. I relieved that minister. And when I did the appointment, that minister, he became a crusader, alleging corruption against his colleagues. Why? Because the institution which was supposed to take him to court and prove the case did not do so. And the politicians also ganged up with this minister, former minister, and said, no, the government is corrupt. So you see, I think that by giving ground and space without interfering with the institutions mandated to investigate corruption, I've done very well. And I've challenged people that if the institutions are not working because of the legal framework being inadequate, let me know how we can follow through so that we give them the power and the teeth. That's what you do. Because I cannot be president and be responsible.
26 is it's a conference of all patriotic Zambians who believe that indeed it is imperative that we unite and come up with the issues that we raised. In fact, the formations and political parties themselves with whom we've been meeting with have already decided among themselves that the delegates to that conference, 45% will come from the political formations, and 55% of the delegates will come from civil society. And the civil society includes the traditional leaders, the colleagues in the Oasis Forum, and young people, and also there will be gender, affirmative action involved in all that, and that process is all ongoing. We hope that by the time we end, I think in the next few days, we shall have an all-inclusive People's Assembly meeting in Lusaka somewhere, at which we'll come up with resolutions that can advance our country forward.
Thank you very much. Is that satisfactory?
Yes.
Okay, but I should also say that in a democracy, we should never be under a delusion that every single individual would agree to the same things. So everybody is free to endorse who they want to endorse or not to endorse who they want to endorse. And the culture of various vulnerable people or threatened people endorsing the ruling party is not new, and it's not surprising, and it can be judged for what it is. There have always been such moves because of this over-centralization and over-personalization of power. Many people, if not all of us, our livelihood is in the hand of
to kill PF. And the same people should be presiding over his 10th memorial. The same people should be putting his ghost to rest forever, and we are watching. We can't accept that. That's why people are saying, what's going on in Zambia? What's going on? Because I don't want to say people were happy and excited when Mr. Sata passed on, because that's a fact. You can check it out for yourself. I don't want to say from day one, after Mr. Sata died, people began trying to destroy his memory by destroying PF.
Just to put it very in clear context, you are saying when Mr. Sata died, some people celebrated.
Yes.
They even began to campaign immediately.
Yes. Yes.
They saw it as an opportunity to get to office.
Yes. So that is a fact. And now, the same people went further when they got power in 2021 to destroy his party. And tomorrow they want to attend the memorial to make sure that even his party dies with him forever. We can't allow that. So for me, I'm waiting between now and tomorrow morning to see what happens. How can you allow somebody who has murdered your son or your daughter and you are still mourning to come and attend the funeral and be made to speak at the funeral?
But how good your son
was, and you know about it, you say, wait a minute, what's happening? And I think I can just say the whole thing, I summed it up when I spoke to one guy. I said, because how can you, Ambassador, a Catholic, be remembered in a Jehovah's Witness hall? In the 10th anniversary, or how do you get
to be dishonored? How do you? Thank you for all that you've joined us. Continue to share the broadcast. We are hosting Honorable Makebi Zulu, who's a PF presidential aspirant. We just had a breaking transmission, but I can see he's back in the studio, and we are going to have a wonderful broadcast. Whatever the issues, we'll have a wonderful broadcast. He was just discussing, first of all, his arrival at the PF Secretariat when we last saw him, and then he undertook tours to the provinces. He did a summary of the country. Through his lenses with the provinces, he found the development deficiencies he found and even the harassment he faced. We're currently discussing the status of the Patriotic Front, that despite the state attacking it relentlessly, deplatforming its leaders, exiling its leaders, imprisoning its leaders, it has shocked many people that despite the breakaways, the PF remained largely intact. And our people know when we say PF, which PF we mean. Many would try to say the PF is dead. Makebi Zulu is here to tell us. And Honorable Makebi Zulu, thank you, and thank you for coming back onto the program. Continue with you were giving the issue of the so-called MPs at last year's Inchwala ceremony, they pledged support to President Hakainde Hichilema. They pledged the same thing. In fact, if you play the two scripts, they appear they're identical. Just pick up the conversation from where you had left it.
Thank you so much. Sorry for that breaking transmission. I've had to turn on my VPN for stability, and here we are. So, I was addressing the fact that the PF is a movement. It's beyond a name, and the very fact that the UPND have now gone to an extent of now trying to change the electoral laws. They're changing the electoral laws at the backdrop of us as PF joined hands with other parties to win elections. Now they are coming to a point where they're saying we have to change the law. The issue of delimitation that I was referring to was done without consultation. They put a cart before a horse. Now look at all this noise that is going regards delimitation. Look at the disagreements that are going on as regards delimitation. When this government was coming up to the number of 70 constituencies, they ought to have known which constituencies those were going to be. To just dream up or pluck out a figure from the air and say, we are going to have 70 constituencies is not a mockery. I can guarantee you, they already know where they want to take all those constituencies. They can't now start going to all the 116 districts to say, let's discuss how best we can have delimitation of constituencies district. And Kasaro came and says, it is not possible that we're going to have delimitation in all the districts. Now, what is going to inform your coming up with these new constituencies? If there's nothing that informed your amendment of the Constitution to come up with, unless this is also a mockery, which I suggest it is, because there is no way you could come up with a definite number such as 70, and you don't know where you're going to have those constituencies. This process of consultation is a corrupt process of eating or at least abusing the money that people ought to have. Monies that ought to be used for other issues are now being used for fake or at least bogus consultations when it is already known, at least I suggest that it is already known, where those constituencies are going to be. I would not be surprised if those constituencies will be in the strongholds of the UPND, because we already know that no one wants to consult after the fact. The same way they did when they set up that technical committee to say we're taking back this Bill 7 to Parliament, and never got anything that technical committee came up with. In this particular case, they're not going to take anything that that has been suggested in that report, in the reports. I know for a fact that even for Malambo, it is suggested that they get to have Malambo East and Malambo West. But I also know for a fact, because they are talking, that they are not going to at least split the constituency. It is known that they won't split the constituency. All this is taking people for fools. I'm surprised that Chief Mwamba was able to say, you can't do this, we don't want this. You never consulted. As a matter of fact, even the constitutional amendment, we have been proven right that it is not the people's constitution, because President Hakainde Hichilema himself, in Choma at a rally, said that he dribbled us Zambians. He dribbled us. However he dribbled us, we have those MPs that went and voted for Bill 7. Is that how he dribbled us? Could it be true that indeed they were corrupted? They were given monies? We hear to the extent of 3 million kwacha each. Is it true that that is how he dribbled the people of Zambia. It is not the will of the people of Zambia that passed. It is the will of the government, President Hakainde Hichilema and his cabinet, that passed. Now we hear Mchima saying that he voted, or at least he was fired because he apparently voted against bills. All those could be lies. What about the issue of Kiona Energy and the supply of all these gensets in all the hospitals around the country, the tender that was given? What are you saying about it? What was the connection of any of them, of the staff at the Ministry of Health in awarding that contract? Were there irregularities? Are you able to tell the Zambians the truth as to why you moved the minister? Is it Bill 7? Is it any involvement, if any, in the issue of the allocation of a contract for the supply of gensets to all the hospitals in the country to one company? All those things, this government must be able to come out true, must be able to explain to the people. Now, I'm still talking about the issue of electoral process and what has been put in place, how that it reflects not the will of the Zambian people, but the will of it. Now you have a mockery to the Zambians again, where you who wants to say be negligent because you carry out your work as we require you to. We'll make it by taking our security feature, the ballot paper. No. That is taking Zambians for fools. They are not fools. The reason we have security feature on that ballot paper is because we want to ensure that should there be a notification of a ballot paper, that security is going to help you identify the forgery, or indeed if there's any malpractice, it is supposed to help you choose or at least separate the good from the bad. That is the role that it's supposed to play. The mischief that you're trying to cure is a mischief of negligence, not a legal issue, not an issue that goes to the very root. The reason we have that mark on the ballot paper is so that we secure the right to choose a leader of every citizen. It goes to the very constitutional matter of having to secure the votes that each and every Zambian casts into that box. You can't then come up and say, we are going to remove this feature because officers are forgetting. How many such cases did you have that resulted into spot ballots? Give us the statistics. Let us know where and how you discovered that was the case. Is it supposed to make it easier to dump pre-marked ballot papers? Because you know that whoever is pre-marking elsewhere may know the stamp that may be in the polling station. Are we wrong like that? Because the reason that you have given is unreasonable. It is nonsensical. It defies all logic, to say the least. You can't remove that mark. You've gone beyond that because they know that PF is able to use any other to win, or at least to put pressure on the government. You even start interfering by wanting to amend the Electoral Process Act to say that no, the issue of Secretary General must be one that is registered with the registrar. What kind of nonsense is that? What mischief are you trying to cure? What problems have you faced in the past that have necessitated the need to make that amendment? Zambians must not just sit and be dormant when all this is happening. The same tricks they pulled on Bill 7 is the same tricks they intend to pull on the Electoral Process Act. We must speak out. We must arise. Of course, in a lawful manner. I wouldn't advocate for anything unlawful, but we need to challenge government to do exactly what is right. You can't now start interfering in the internal affairs of the party. You started this by issuing a memo. Electoral Commission of Zambia issues a memo to say we will only receive adoption certificates signed by the president of the party and the secretary of the party. What law gave you that power? Where did you get that power? Now you realize everything was an illegality. You want to now crystallize it into law so that you can legalize the illegalities that you've been carrying out. They still remain illegal. At an appropriate time, they'll be challenged, and the chickens will come home to roost. You can't do that. You shouldn't be doing that. You even go further and say, well, anyone who goes to vote, the moment they vote, they should leave the polling station. How did UPND come into power? How did they find themselves in power? It's because they saw the need to protect their constitutional right to choose a leader of their choice and to protect their vote, and therefore vote and decide to stay at a polling station to ensure that there's no interference with my will or indeed the will of the people. Then you say, no, you go home, you've already voted. That should not fly. That will not fly. Zambians should be able to speak out and see these amendments for what they are. There is no necessity, there is no mischief that they wish to cure except to advantage those that are in power. And that should not happen. That should not be allowed to happen. We have this going on because they know that whatever vehicle that the PF is going to choose, and by the way, we are prepared to use another vehicle, and we are preparing to choose a leader amongst ourselves. Because the party has been taken away, and if we choose a leader amongst ourselves, we will not be deemed to be particularly contravening any law or any legal process because the party has been taken away. But amongst ourselves, we are sitting together and saying, let's choose a leader amongst ourselves because we, a people that are called PF, have to move and rescue this country. This country is in dire need of rescue from the government of President Hakainde Hichilema. People know what they don't. We have to give them that alternative, and we have to show them that we are the alternative. And indeed, it is for that reason that I came on board myself as an alternative to the governance that we've experienced by President Hakainde Hichilema. A governance that does not respect the rule of law. A governance that does not respect its promises that it has given to the people. A governance that does not respect the right of the people to speak. A government that is now interfering with the right of the people to vote by changing laws to fit their circumstances. We do not need such a government. And what we're going to offer is something new. Something new that is going to ensure that there is rule of law. Something new that is going to ensure that those powers that the president is exercising right now, to the extent of abusing those powers, are taken away from the presidency and put in institutions. We need a constitution that will reflect the times that we are in right now. The times we are in right now do not require the kind of constitution that we have. This independence constitution reposed power in one person. This independence constitution ensured that this one person could tolerate or indeed use his power to advantage themselves. Now, all these years, we have depended on good people taking up the presidency. We need to move from that place where we start depending on good people to take the presidency, to change the law so that the law controls everything that they do, such that you can even take a madman and put them as president, and the law itself will be able to fashion how they're going to behave in that office. We need to do that. We need to make sure that the institutions of governance, such as the police, are independent. Commissions are independent, and the autonomy is fully realized. We can't have the Anti-Corruption Commission under the supervision of the president, Drug Enforcement Commission under the supervision of the president, the AC under the supervision of the president, the office or at least the police under the supervision of the president. You can't have such. It is for that reason that they try to give the perception that there is no corruption in their government, when it's rampant. It's rampant because the controls that are supposed to be there to ensure the autonomy of commissions, the autonomy of investigative wings are not there. We hear how that in the Ministry of Youth, monies that were intended for the youths, at least 40% was abused. Why don't you bring those that abused those resources to book? Why are you only transferring persons that have abused their positions? What has happened to that 40%? Out of the 100%, you use 60%, 40% goes missing, or at least is mitigated, and all you do is move a person who is acting in that position, all you do is move the permanent secretary. Quietly about fighting those when we are keen to bring a government that is not vengeful, a government to look interests of the governed, it's the people of the power. Look at their interests. All these years, Ambassador, the UPND has concentrated on individuals, has concentrated on prosecuting individuals, and not delivering to the expectations of the Zambian people. I can guarantee President Hakainde Hichilema that he will probably be the most respected former president under the government where Makebi Zulu is going to be president. I have had occasion or an opportunity to represent President Rupia. I saw how that he was victimized together with his family. His victimization only stopped when President Edgar Chagwa Lungu became president. Then he put a stop to it. I had opportunity to represent President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, his family, as well as the members of the Patriotic Front Party. I have seen how that they are victimized. I have seen how that families have suffered because the government seems to think that the only person that they are troubling is this one individual. Do you know they have children? Do you know they have relatives? Do you know they have grandchildren? Do you know that there are other people? It has a ripple effect as to what, when you do that. That politics of vengeance needs to come to an end. President Hakainde Hichilema, you'll be the most respected former president this country has ever had, because we intend to put a stop to that. Whatever may have happened in this period of governance, that we're willing to forego. Dignify you in your position as former president. Make use of you as a statesman to rebuild the image of this country, to put confidence back in the image of this country, that we have a country that respects its former president. We need to do that. We need to move to that. So in all this, we are saying it is about Zambia. It is about respecting the institutions of governance. It is about making sure that the autonomy of the commissions, the ECZ, or the investigative wings is guaranteed, so that the reflection of everything that they do is not the will of the governor, or indeed the party in power, or indeed the person who's president, but it is the will of the Zambian people. Because that's what we are called to do. This country is divided. It's divided on tribal lines. It's divided on party lines. It's divided based on regions. And we need to bring that to a stop. And that is what we are offering. That is what we are telling the Zambian people we need to do. We need to cleanse the judiciary. We need to cleanse the legislature. We need to cleanse the executive by ensuring that the autonomy of these institutions is not compromised. We have timid judges. We have a cadre of a speaker who will even answer questions for and on behalf of the executive, who will dance and jubilate at the passing of oppressive laws of laws that do not reflect the will of the people. Who will dance at that? Something off the decorum of the that has to go to the National Assembly. We do not such. We need to be organized in our approach. We need to respect the law in our approach to governance. We need to bring fresh minds into governance. We need to bring reality to a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Not a government that only wants to perpetuate its stay in power. Everything that is being done by the government is to try and perpetuate its stay in power. And that is not right. That is so wrong, Ambassador. So the Patriotic Front...
Yeah, before you go any further, or maybe finish the thoughts around the Patriotic Front, and I bring in my question.
Yes.
And
So
we need
the
to bring in the
Patriotic
callers.
Front,
Thank you. Please finish.
Party is, yes, please. The Patriotic Front Party is beyond the paper and who holds the paper to the Patriotic Front. It's a movement. It's a people. And these people can be on their own, choose a leader amongst themselves, and choose a vehicle that they are going to use. And all these mingalatos of one change the Electoral Process Act so that you disadvantage will not work, because now we are awake and we know where we're going. We know where we want to work with the Zambian people. We know what the Zambian people are calling for, and we already know that the Zambian people have rejected the UPND. We are the alternative, and we will deliver to the expectation. Yes.
The issue of unity, working together within the Patriotic Front and larger members of the opposition. I don't know what your view is about national unity, because that's what our people are calling for. Why can't you get together? The other day, my dear brother, Brian Mundubile, who's leading a breakaway from Tonse Alliance, invited, you said the two of you are talking, were speaking on Hot FM. Just enlighten us. We, again, recently saw an official endorsement where you were invited to a political party, NCP, led by Mr. Peter Chanda. They held a conference and they invited you. They said they have selected you as its presidential candidate. Please speak to the two issues around Tonse Alliance, the invitation you publicly received from Honorable Brian Mundubile on Hot FM on Wednesday, and from Peter Chanda.
Firstly, I must thank my colleague Peter Chanda for the endorsement and the invitation to stand as a candidate or under the NCP ticket. I must thank President Nassan Soni for showing confidence in my leadership and giving me the blessing to go ahead, notwithstanding that he's a president of another political party, endorsing me effectively. I must also thank you for the poll that you carried out. Though you never want me, you should have warned me. I was driving from Chelenge, going to Mansa, when I was told there's a poll this which has just ended, and you have won. That show of confidence in my leadership was really humbling. And I must also thank my colleague for noticing the leadership quality that may be myself, and realizing that he needs us to work together. And I must say this, that before the abandonment of my colleague, before he abandoned the Patriotic Front Party.
Your colleague, please tell us a name.
Yes. Yes. My colleague Brian Mundubile, we were talking before he abandoned the Patriotic Front Party. And as a matter of fact, I think this is the point at which the public might, that right from the onset, I had made a proposal to colleagues to say, the manner in which we're going to approach these intra-party elections is going to be very important. And I did suggest that if we moved from province to province together and address the delegates together, where President Given Luminda speaks, I speak, my colleague Brian Mundubile speaks, Chimbakambwidi speaks, Sampa speaks, we talk to our delegates, it would be better and we wouldn't have this issue of team BM8, team MZ8, and all those issues. It's for that reason that you may have noticed that we went late, at least stayed behind, hoping that we could come up to some form of agreement as to how we're going to approach this process. But there are those that chose to go all out right away, go on and be on the other side, until we were seen to be coming from behind, and there was a call: "You are not moving. You are not moving." All that was in a quest to try and bring everybody together, so that we have a way that was not going to divide the party. We had the issue of saying, let's have a conclave. We sit amongst ourselves, choose a leader amongst ourselves, or at least a number of participants. It is at this point I wish to commend you and Honorable Mao Sampa, Honorable Mtotwe Kafwaya, for realizing this may not be my time, though I have the capacity to lead, I have all the qualities. This may not be my time. I will instead step back and leave the rest to fewer people. That is very commendable. And I'm talking about the issue of unity. So we decided, okay, let's have a conclave.
Just for clarification, Honorable Makebi Zulu.
Yes.
Just clarify that, because the way you've put it, like you are the one who's withdrawing. I think you are attributing those words to both Honorable Mao Sampa and Honorable Mtotwe Kafwaya. Social media will take it that you resigned.
No, I have not resigned. I'm just commending you, my colleague Mtotwe Kafwaya, as well as Honorable Mao Sampa, for that bold step and the realization that maybe this may not be the right time, though I know they are fully capable and fully qualified. You are fully capable, fully qualified to take up the reins of power. And of course, it is governance by a team. And I can guarantee you that even in the government that we're going to form in August, you are all going to be part of it, because we to put all our ideas together and serve the Zambian people, serve the best interests of the Zambian people. But I was referring to an issue where we said, let's have a meeting of candidates where we are going to choose amongst ourselves, or at least break down the numbers to the barest minimum that we can work with. And it was also agreed, or at least discussed, to the extent that, listen, we have a number of people that are participating. Let's take into account the regions that are there. Perhaps those that come from a particular block, you sit amongst yourselves, choose one, and those that come from another block, until there's proper representation. Maybe at that point we'll say, okay, you take up the top position, in which case we're going to have someone unopposed. You take up the second position, or indeed you take up the position of speaker. That was going to be the modus that we're going to pick. But when you have such a process, it means that there must be a meeting of minds, not of a few, but of all. When one goes out, it compromises the whole process. It means that the process can go ahead. And you saw at some point that this process that was supposed to ensure that there was cohesion, to ensure that there was unity, to ensure that there was healing even amongst our members, because we, the candidates, had agreed and had come up to a conclusion. We saw that my brother, Brandon, really pulled out of that process. And even after that, of course, we were engaging still, because he was still part of PF. Now we are at a place where he has moved out of PF. I have remained in PF. And then there's this call to say, via social media, by the way, come, we work together. The analogy I can give you is that of the prodigal son. When you read the Bible and the story of the prodigal son, when the prodigal son strayed or went away from the father and went to a place where he lost all his fortune, he did not say to the father and his brother to say, come where I am, so that we can be reunited again. This call for unity is not for the movement of those that have remained behind to follow one that has gone prodigal. It is for the one that is prodigal to come back to the house and will say, everything that happened is forgotten. We can forget everything that happened. Let us build from here. Let us build from what we already have, not start from the scratch. That is not how it should be. If unity of the opposition means leaving the Patriotic Front as a people that we are and going to join a breakaway that, in my view, was not legitimate from the Tonse perspective, because whom was he competing with? If the idea was, okay, gentlemen, this particular issue of insisting on having a convention under PF is not going to work. Let's go and sit and compete under Tonse and see who carries the day. That was going to be making much more sense because you participate in the process. You can't get away, have yourself king, and say, come and be my deputy. Is that what we're going to call unity? I see a lot of calls to say, go and work with your brother, Mundubile. I want to work with my brother, Mundubile. I'm determined to work with my brother, Mundubile, but not in the circumstances that is in. Come back to the fold. Come back to the larger family. Let's carry this whole family with us and serve the people of Zambia. The process that was undertaken is not a process that gives legitimacy to your position. It's a process that shows that you must have it all and have it all to yourself. And everybody else must support that cause. That is not how we should approach that. Let's come together. Let's sit together. Let's carry the whole family together. We are willing to come for the one that is lost and not necessarily abandon the 99. We want you to come to the 99 so that as 100, we can fight this fight together and bring proper unity to the party. What I don't agree with is that unity means everyone moving and going to join FTD. I think unity is us coming together with the larger family and say, where do we go from here? That's my perspective on that issue. I'm glad that he acknowledges the value that I may add to his team. I'm glad that he's willing for us to work together, but my question is right. Let's do things the proper way. Let's participate in a process that heals and not a process that breaks.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll be opening the phone lines just now. Let me just switch on my phones, and dear viewers, you'll be able to call us. We are hosting Honorable Makebi Zulu. We are hosting Honorable Makebi Zulu, former Minister of Eastern Province, former Malambo MP, recently lawyer for the late President Edgar Chagwa-Lungu and the family. And before I open the phone lines, there is a matter that I needed you to answer on, and this is regarding what the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti, stated, that it is up to the family. I know you are no longer speaking in the capacity of the family, but I think this is very important that you are here because you've been part of the process. She's saying it's up to the family to bring the body of the late president. What is your view about that? This arose after Speaker of the National Assembly, after Matero MP and Deputy Secretary General of the PF cried to her, and this is after also Fred Membe cried to President Hakainde Hichilema, let your brother be put to rest. Please just answer those two concerns.
All right, but first I must bring clarity to your point. May be misunderstood when you said, I know you're no longer speaking on behalf of the family. I'm still spokesperson of the family. I'm happy to take on that solemn duty, except perhaps the correction is that for purposes of this program for today, I will not be addressing that, but to deal with just the narrow issue of Madam Nelly Muti. And that's why I said we need to bring dignity back to the House. Because when a question is asked, when Honorable Masampa asked the question, that question was not to the Speaker of the National Assembly. That question was to the government. The Speaker is not government spokesperson. She should not volunteer answers. She should not volunteer her opinions. She has categorized the House to an extent that in my view, I'd say the decorum and dignity of the House is at its lowest. It's at its lowest because the rightful persons to answer those questions were seated on the other side. Those should have responded to that question. Everybody knows that in this issue of the burial of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, that it was the government that went to court. Having gone to court, they ended up with a judgment that was less than favorable and discounting the family from any involvement in the process. The family thought it wise to challenge it so that they are not discounted from participating in the process. It must be stated here and now clearly that the family is not objectionable to burying President Edgar Chagwa Lungu here in Zambia. The family is not objectionable to that. The family is objectionable to the part of the judgment that excludes them from the process altogether. Until and unless that is rectified, the family reserves its right to challenge a decision that does not respond or respect the rights of the family. That excludes the family from participating in any manner, shape, or form, even in a way that was presumably agreed on. That is the challenge there. Nelly Muti, the Right Honorable Nelly Muti, has to take out those UPND sunglasses and see herself as an umpire who is there to regulate deliberations, to ensure that the deliberations are protecting the rights of the members of parliament to express themselves. Parliament is for speaking, to express themselves. Let the executive answer the questions that are put to them. Don't answer for them. Unless you are suggesting to us that they are so dull, they can't give the answer that you gave. You think you are the spokesperson for them, and they can't think the way you think. That answer, if you thought it was proper, leave it to them. Let the executive be the ones to answer. Not you, Madam Muti. Get off that high horse. Take up the dignified role of Speaker of the National Assembly, an august house, a respectable house, and preserve the dignity of the house. That's what I would say as regards that, Ambassador Emmanuel.
Thank you very much. The lines are open. The numbers are buzzing. We are hosting Honorable Harry Kalaba, the tenor, Honorable Makebi Zulu. Sorry, because the two of you were competing. So Honorable Harry Kalaba's name is on my lips, and the two of you emerged winner in one of the polls. Congratulations to the two of you. Now, let's take the phone calls. The phones are buzzing. Keep on sharing the broadcast. The turnout is huge, but keep on sharing the broadcast. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and your contributions.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and your quick contributions so that we can take as many calls as possible.
Thank you. Mr. Fresh Chamber on the line.
Fresh, make your contributions.
Thank you. Honorable Makebi Zulu, what I love him is the package of wisdom. Full of wisdom, full of understanding, very calm boldness. Is a man that Zambians need. We need somebody who has wisdom, full of wisdom. Malume, wisdom on your badwanayo. You don't go to school and learn wisdom. Wisdom, and this is the reason why Makebi Zulu stands a very big chance to be our president. And this is the reason why, personally, I'm behind supporting Makebi Zulu for his, and the wisdom that God has given. Just look the way he's responding to the questions that you're giving. If it were others, would have been having goosebumps now. But we are happy, we are celebrating because of the wisdom that he has. So I'm urging all the Zambians, please, let's come on board and support this man. God bless you, Honorable Makebi Zulu, and be safe wherever you are. Thank you.
Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and give us your contributions or questions.
Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. Thank you for hosting our president. My name is Nyangwe Dani, calling you from Canada. Honorable Makebi Zulu, you can see that today the nation of Zambia is tuned, watching and listening to you. But Makebi Zulu, like the first caller said, you're a man of wisdom, and your wisdom is going to take you places. Your wisdom is what is going to bring hope to Zambians. And my appeal to you, Honorable Makebi Zulu, this is our time. This is our time, and your time is you're bringing new things for Zambians. I am so glad, I am so happy that you are here today with us and you are sharing everything with us. God bless you, Makebi Zulu. We love you, and God will see you that you are going to lead Zambia. Zikomo kwambili. And Ambassador Mwamba, continue doing your job. We love you and we'll continue supporting you. We are so happy.
Thank you very much. Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contribution.
Thank you so much. My name is Abraham Rooney Kapia.
Yes, Mr. Kapia. Make your contributions.
Yes. President, Mwananda Bunosa, Natare Konga. Otherwise, we should have president Muri Monishina Bataishu. Bu president now, Fuika, Kabili now, Monica, Somali Ascafio, and Famila and Davantu Badiamfo. This is good. We know, we have been to a issue of Tao Chachin. You know, part one, so now I chose right. I chose the right person. I chose the right candidate. May God bless you. Bantu amano ya alifundisha Kenya alifundisha coffee so that Zambia ikabe safe. Ni mufabuno pala mulanjiro kwe batinga mwaba president. Ba president akainde ichile matamaka bachushe ko baka respected ku muntu uli wonse. Bantu na tumono kwe batifire chitike fya chitika kulu mvya ko bachifya ko la shupa ba president ishani. Imota mwaka shupe ko muntu uli wonse. Ifo tulefo unity yo ine. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Konkanye nipo kwa chite fina mweshta. Nongola ndefi fya kupela encouragement ku bantu. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
Awe, bushakwe na ba Mwamba, ba Makebi Zulu. That's why I say every day ba platform pa mien. Bantu, I don't even know what to say. This man, he's a very well packaged man. Full package that Zambia needs. We want to appreciate Honorable Makebi Zulu for coming through to take part in the presidential race. And we Zambians, we are ready. Because I can see that the entire Zambia is watching. Na baruani bonse bale tamba. Bonse bashirefo kumona Zambia kwebati ye pantanch bale tamba. And I believe that one day they will come to their senses and they will follow such a leader like Makebi Zulu. Mr. Makebi Zulu, may God continue protecting you and blessing you. Zambia is behind you, just like the way God is behind you. Thank you, Ambassador, for doing the great works you are doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Keep on calling. The lines are open. We are hosting Honorable Makebi Zulu. He's still family spokesperson for the late president, as you heard. I thought I didn't understand, but he has made it very clear. But he's a PF presidential candidate. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contributions.
Hello, Ambassador. Ambassador, question imwe nkwete na contribution imo. Question indeli kushakoba Makebi Zulu. Banje beko ine kwena aliwo asakamana kana because ambassador imwe kale mwali pire ndala mashapu iminina bachimbaka ngwiri na bambi na mundubire. Nemyaka eshatu pona tuishiwa. Ero again mpaka tuwatangwa na mkwe bachiba abafyashi bafwa batusha Makebi Zulu bali kere fyo branda ku mulando wa mfu watu wale fyo kwa wino sana yonse twalero lano kwe tumfe kwa mapute tu makuli bena nomba after Makebi Zulu basa chitajikreo kwe bati kwena ine nara iminina ofyo baishire na pano batu we bati nara iminina apo Makebi Zulu bara ndira ati nara iminina munga mwapenda time frame inono sana. So after Makebi basa join a group yenu ine behavior yaba mudara betu ba mundubire
awe mwalishi wa maruzi apano wa munkonge landeni fye pali wa Makebi Zulu na contribution tulalanda pa ma candidates bambi.
Okay, naumfa wa mwamba naumfa nomba keni ndande contribution
Endeshen.
Hello?
Yes. We've lost him. The rules are very simple. Ask Honorable Makebi Zulu, make your contribution around Makebi Zulu. If you wish to disparage other candidates, you know on this platform we don't allow. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is from Livingston.
You can switch off the other phone, it's giving us feedback.
Makebi Zulu. I think Makebi, you are such a good leader and a blessing to this country. Now, the other thing that they actually are prodigal son. Of course, umuntu ngafuma munani kane mu PF team and all those that abade support break away. I think they should understand this fact and thank God that Makebi Zulu balondora bono sana. Now, Makebi Zulu, nacharo mbakofe, aweka nacharo abengi ile ashiri abalungu. I know you currently are not speaking for them, but I think process from the time he went to South Africa up to date, because our guys actually playing a propaganda. So ndero mbakofe mulondoro ile abantu step by step so that we understand that.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contribution.
Hello, Honorable Mwamba.
Hello.
This is Pumolos Tumbeko from California.
Make your contribution, my sister.
Thank you, Ambassador. Greetings to Your Excellency, incoming President, MCA. I just have one thing to say. It's actually an appeal. But before I make the appeal, I just want to thank the President, Makebi Zulu, for his honesty and integrity and clarifying a lot of things. I think bringing clarity to this whole picture will enable Zambians to make these decisions in this critical time. But my appeal is, before I appeal again, I want to thank Mao Sampa, Honorable Mao Sampa, and is it Bakatotowe who have stepped down from the race?
Not Katotowe, Mutotwe Kafwaya.
Oh, Mutoto Kafwaya, yes, sorry. Yes, so I thank the two honorables for stepping down from the race. Now, in the interest of unity, I would like to appeal for all the presidential candidates, if they can just step down and let Honorable Makebi Zulu stand unopposed. This is going to help eliminate a lot of problems that we are facing. So this is my appeal and a challenge to everyone who is vying to be a president in the PF, if they can say, in the interest of national unity, the polls have proved whom the people want. Even myself, I wanted to be a president. You all know I founded a party, but I'm not chasing the woman who grabbed my party, because I have looked at this and I've said this is not the right time for me. But I could go there and throw my name in the bucket. So this is my appeal to say, Zambia to Apapata, let us put our wishes and dreams aside and rally behind the one candidate unopposed. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contributions.
Hello.
Yes, caller.
Evening.
Good evening.
Yes, this is Mama T.
Mama T, make your contributions.
Thank you so much. Good evening, President Makebi Zulu. Like the previous caller said, the only thing that we need hearts like the one that Mtoto Kafwaya, Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya, Honorable Mauzi Sampa has shown so far. And we are praying that more of them should do the same. What we need now as Zambians is to liberate ourselves. So if we have a lot of people wanting to stand, then we won't achieve what we want. Honorable Makebi Zulu is the candidate of my choice myself. I've said that I'm behind Honorable Makebi Zulu because for me first, I think I've seen that he's focused and he has a vision for this country. And then saying so doesn't mean that these other leaders that we have do not have a vision. But we are looking at the challenge that we have right now at hand. We just need one leader who will stand with Hakainde Hichilema so that we manage to remove this man. And then
thank you very much.
Apecho tulefwaya kufwayo kulugula bena Zambia. A common Zambian, the way we've suffered, we are looking to you, our leaders, to liberate us. If you don't unite, you guys, then if we mishmat posa pansi. To apapata de samitangire bonse mwema leaders be sutule mipeperera kabili mumfwani mumwikatishanye. Thank you so much, Ambassador.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and give us your contributions.
Good evening, Ambassador. Thank you very much for this wonderful show. First and foremost, greetings to President Makebi. I want to start by quoting a statement that he made. In the government that we are going to form, you are all going to be part of it because we need to put ideas together. I loved that comment. I love that comment very much. And I want to say that the call that President Makebi makes to Honorable Brian Mundubile to come back to PF, it is genuine. You could see it in his eyes. You could sense it in his voice. And Honorable Brian Mundubile should immediately pack his bags and come back to PF, like Honorable Mao Sampa did and like Honorable Chitalu Chilutia did, and come back and be part of the team. If there is anyone, Ambassador, who can be trusted to work with others, to look after Mama Esther Lungu, to ensure that the remains of President Edgar Chagalungu are brought back home with dignity, okay? To ensure funeral is held in a manner that it should be done. If there's anybody who can respect Hakainde Hichilema without persecuting him after his presidency in August, and even ensure that the Patriotic Front that was started by Michael Sata is served and restored. If there's anyone, I think we all know. I think we've heard it today. That person is President Makebi Zulu. So I'm very excited to have someone with such positive energy. If you look in the comments, it's showing Ambassador, you know, this is our show EMV, and we know the numbers. Today we are hitting 1,800. It means he's attracting people. And this is good. So much support from everywhere. Abashide Mona, Abashide Stand. I think they need to take a leaf from this wise, you know, man that God has put, you know, before us this time. Let's rally behind him. Let's support him, and let's do this together, because this is our country and we need to be headed together in unity, in one direction. Thank you so much, Ambassador.
Thank you, thank you. The calls are so many. Please be brief, Alokola, so that we can allow others to. Alokola, you are live.
Good evening. Good evening, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba.
Good evening.
Sydney Njamba here, calling from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Sydney, make your contributions.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. We finally have our own Thomas Sankara. We finally have our own Ibrahim Traore in Council Makebi Zulu. I think everyone has seen that.
Is it cut? Sydney, see if you can call back. You are saying that we have hello, please tell us your name and where you are calling us. Just hold on, my sister. Let me put you on speaker. For one reason or another, the speaker went. Just a minute. Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, good evening, Ambassador. How are you? This is Beverly calling from the UK.
Oh, Beverly from the UK. My dear sister, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Make your contributions, my sister.
Yeah, good evening to the incoming President Makebi Zulu. I'm very happy that he's come on the platform and talked to the people of Zambia. What I want to say to him, though, is to ensure that when he comes in on 13th of August 2026, is for him to promise the people of Zambia to take back the constitution to where it belongs, to the people of Zambia. Zambia has become a banana republic, and it is vital and very important for him to ensure, as a constitutional lawyer, to ensure the first task that he will have when he's voted in is to take back the constitution, the honors of the constitution with the people of Zambia. Another thing I want to say is that we're happy that we made the right decision. We're happy that his candidature is attracting a lot of Zambians, and the Zambians can see that when we made the decision to support the incoming President Makebi Zulu, we made the right decision. He stands out, and we hope he can maintain his integrity and ensure that he delivers to the Zambian people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. There are so many calls who will allow Honorable Makebi Zulu to answer some of that. Let me take just the last three calls. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
I would like to commend Honorable Makebi Zulu for maintaining his stance. And I know a lot of people will say maintaining his stance. No, he has a proven track record. As for all those who always come back with rhetoric over his ministerial position, go back and check the man's track record for standing with people who are so castigated, so victimized, and not for show, right? So that's number one. Number two, I would like to really hammer one truth home. And this isn't just for Zambia, this is for Africa. Africa has the largest youth population coming. We are the largest economic force coming on the face of this earth. We need this man. We must understand where the world is standing globally, and we have become a laughingstock. We have become a mockery. Our institutions have become a mockery. We were always pace setters in industry, in mining, in agriculture, in education. A Zambian engineer will always be preferred Never before in the history of Zambia has a qualified degree holder. It means nothing. It means nothing. And every parent out there knows the sacrifices that are made for children to get to uni. I say this again. We don't want one-hit wonders. We want long-term. We want a man who can go the distance. We want a man who can represent what the Zambian population need, who can drive reforms, will not be standing in bitterness, hatred, anger, and revenge. And thank you so much for one thing that you've said in regards to the current head of state, which is that nobody's going to victimize him. And we are beyond that point where we start throwing stones. No. What we want, and all Zambians, is the longevity of prosperity. And God bless you, keep you, cause his face to shine upon you daily, showing you his goodness and mercy. We love you, we love you, we love you. Take care.
Thank you very much. Powerful call there, powerful call. Thank you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contributions quickly.
Good evening, Mwamba.
Good evening, my dear sister.
Good evening, Honorable Makebi Zulu. My name is Emunkole. I'm here to just give a commendation to my president, Honorable Makebi Zulu. Right now, the democratic space that we are living in our country has shrunk. And I think we need you now more than ever to bring back the rights of the people, to bring back the rights of the people to speak freely, to bring back the freedom that we used to enjoy. I commend you because you are young, you have a young family, yet you have put your life on the chopping board, trying to bring yourself and save this country. I think that is highly commendable. We continue to pray for you. We know that you are not safe. We know that it's not easy. And we, the people, we are behind you. We will continue to pray for you and to support you. Please continue. I've spoken a lot of sense, and every well-meaning Zambian must rally behind you. Honestly, you are intelligent, you are smart, you are calm, and I am assured personally that when you come into power, you are going to provide the steady leadership that Zambia truly deserves. Please, you are the man coming into power on the 13th of August, 2026. I can assure you of that. You are the chosen one. Please keep doing what you're doing, and God bless you and bless your family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Callers, there are so many calls. We can only take so much. So be brief. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador Manu Mamba, this is Sydney Njamba again.
Oh yeah, you got cut. Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Finish your thoughts quickly.
Thank you very much. We have a youthful leader, our own Thomas Sankara, our own Ibrahim Traore for Zambia. We are rallying behind Council Makebi Zulu, and we want to assure him that our votes are with him. We are registered to vote, and we want to just assure all the Zambians that are doubting the capabilities of Council Makebi Zulu that he's a tested leader. He has stood, we have seen how he has stood with in the impasse of the late president. This is a person that is going to protect us, and is a person that is going to stand for Zambia, even in difficult times. Council Makebi Zulu, we want to assure you that our votes are with you, and we wish you all the best, and we want you to be the 8th president of Zambia. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Let me take the last call. We go back to Honorable Makebi Zulu. He gives us his remarks, then we come back. Hello, caller, you are the last one in this series. Before we make your contributions and tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you very much, Uncle Jay.
Yes, Uncle Jay, make your contribution.
Yeah, just a quick one. Thank you. I'll just echo, the words that were mostly spoken in South Africa: flee at last, flee at last. For once we have hope. Here is the man anointed. Here is the man put forth by God to lead the nation at such a time as this. Thank you so much. I'm so emotional right now, and I'm grateful to God that finally here we are, and hope is on the horizon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sorry, I'd accidentally answered this call as the last one in this series. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from as we go back to Honorable Makebi Zulu.
Okay. Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good
My
evening.
name is Tandiwe. My name is Tandiwe Ketesengoma. I'm calling you from Slovenia.
Yes, Tandiwe.
And good evening, the incoming president, Honorable Makebi Zulu. I would just like to say I'm very happy to hear Honorable Makebi Zulu saying, come 2020, come 13th August, when he's elected as president, there is no room for victimization of President Hakainde Hichilema. This is a very, very good stance. Not the way Hakainde Hichilema has treated the former head of state, where the UPND cadres would be insulting his predecessor, the UPND cadres who disrespect his predecessor. Even in death, they've continued to do this. I would say President Hakainde Hichilema is a disgrace to the presidency. Really, politics aside, at least he could have just done one honorable thing, just to respect his predecessor. So victimization won't be there, but one thing has to be done. That community house, Hakainde babumfya indalama cha government. I think victimization takwakabe ba president nende lomba kofie kweba ti inganda yena mukaba pere imbi pantu inganda bekala muyena tuire fyo kupanga ekitere kyankoko. Ekitere kyankoko idia community house yena tukapanga ekitere kyankoko, because there is no way he can be using taxpayers' money to put all those security features there. Then you become the president. How about your safety? Idia security abapalia panganda pa community house. Tukuba ma state house ya vidi. Lienganda yena tukapanga ekitere kyankoko mukabafwairo kwa kuikala kumbi. Thank you.
Honorable Makebi Zulu, this was the last caller in this series, but I've noticed that it's my elder, Honorable Mumbipiri, who is here. So you just have to excuse her. Honorable Mumbipiri, please make your contributions.
And very fast. Good evening, Ramwamba.
Good evening.
Makebi, good evening. In a contribution, it's just the assurance. Commitment, Yaba Makebi, Yadi Monica, especially those who can doubt Mumwe Wandi. That's why I'm not ashamed. I'm so proud that is my choice of the incoming president. Mwebena Zambia, question me how President Makebi Zulu was committed when I had a case in Mongo. Look at the way I was looked after. Abashai Shivanga Natria Kumongu Gamba. He made sure himself of commitment. If he never had a commitment, Kuribalungu, even in death. Zambia, you should be assured that what he's saying, he will do it. And he will be committed to you. Did you see the way I was looking at Mwamba? He
He made sure he was coming in Gabaleisa. He made sure he came home, packed my clothes. The day before we go to court, Baisa Nimbira. Bamayo Bapala, Batata Bapala. The thing I love about Makebi is his commitment even to God. That's why he will stick to what he's telling us. And we should give him support so that come 13th August, tukabatwale ku State House. Eno tuko sepo twebena Zambia. Ifyo bamwagala Zaromes balefo okuchinja electrical law. Bafumya ama features baleko okuchita stamp. What will stop them from starting ama ballot boxes filatwa mwene ku Southern Province? Icho chena fwebena Zambia tu ifumina. And I'm glad even their own supporter, like Vaneva Smumba, for the first time, Valanda Kwesile Panga sense. Let's support Vaneva Smumba for Valentine. Thank you very much. We are listening and we are enjoying the program.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to apologize to the many callers. I can see all my phones are buzzing. But let's give a moment to Honorable Makebi Zulu to give his remarks to the callers so far. I'll come back to you callers to get the second round of callers, then we release him.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. And I'm greatly humbled by the many contributions that have been put across. I noticed that there are very few questions, but mostly compliments. I do not take those compliments for granted, but respectfully thank you for your contributions. Brother Charles, Danny, Abraham, Wamunkonge, Queen Pumi, Mama T, Brian, Sydney, and Beverly, yes, Nkole, and Kate. I really appreciate your contributions, and for those whose names I've not mentioned, I appreciate your contribution. There's something that was raised by M. Nkole, saying the democratic space has shrunk. I was taken aback when I heard the president, when he was addressing the National Assembly, and was telling those that are in the diaspora to say that they are coming in for you or they are closing in. I was taken aback by that, because most of the things that he has taken issue with are things that are personal. Any direct attacks on the presidency, he has really taken them personal. And most of the people that he's after are those that have spoken against him personally. And that ought not to be the case. You are a leader, you have to be thick-skinned. And I want to assure all those in the diaspora that in August you are coming back home free of any threats of any charges on you. I don't have to agree with what you say, but your right to say what you said must be protected. Those were the words of Abraham Lincoln when he said that I don't need to agree with what you say, but I'll protect your right to say it. So you have every right to say what you say, and someone doesn't need to agree with you. You must be protected within the bounds of the Constitution. That's why we need to strengthen our legal process, and we will be looking forward to welcoming you back home, because that investment and all that money you're making abroad needs to come back home, so that you retire safely back home. And every Zambian must be able to feel safe. Every Zambian must be able to feel valued, and every Zambian must feel part of the government. And when the government messes up, they must be able to speak. I was disappointed yet again when I heard the president speaking when he was at State House, when he talked about that issue of those AI-generated pictures of him in a coffin. He dared to talk about that publicly. I thought it was something that he would ignore and talk about the drivers that are being killed in Congo. That is a very important thing. That is a national issue. That is an issue that the truck drivers must be able to feel safe. The president is on record having said the time he was following up on the choppers in the Malanji case, he picked the phone and called Ramaphosa. When he was following up in Zimbabwe, he picked the phone and called President Mnangagwa? Why don't you pick the phone and call President Tshisekedi to say, my people are dying the moment they cross the Kasumbalesa border? The truck drivers are in dire straits and they need a president that is going to speak for them. Not a president who's obsessed of him being put, or at least pictures of him being put in a coffin. I have been referred to as Malukula, a name that was intended to be, in fact, as a matter of fact, I have a gavel in my office. I have a gavel in my office as we're preparing for this. One of the technical team was like, you even have a hammer. I have a gavel. So the very fact that someone chooses to call me Malukula does not mean I should refocus my attention from what is important to the fact that I have been called Malukula. Therefore, the person that has called me Malukula must be able to pay. I will embrace that name and look at it for what it is. If I was president, I'll say, oh, you put me in a coffin. I want to make sure that by the time you're saying me in a coffin, Zambians will be liberated. Persons living with disabilities will be taken care of. A person that is deaf and dumb, and I'm very passionate about people that are deaf and dumb, and for that reason, at a young age, I had to learn how to speak sign language because I had most of my friends were deaf and dumb at Lusaka Boys School and at Munali. And what's disheartening is that when you look at the hospitals in Zambia, for example, at UTH, you have only about 2 or 3 persons that are able to speak sign language. Why don't we make it mandatory that every place that offers services to the public must be able, whereas they'll provide access for those that are not able to get there, for wheelchair access, they'll put that. What about employing a person who is acquainted with sign language? So that we do not restrict people who are deaf and dumb to UTH, for example. Why don't we have them go to Midlands, for example? Why don't we have them go to other hospitals around? Indeed, all the public hospitals, how are they attending to people who are deaf and dumb? Can somebody think about these persons that are living with disabilities to say they are Zambians, they need access to the services, the many services. When they go to the airport, can we have someone that is there who is acquainted with sign language? When they go to any government facility, or indeed to get their passport, or indeed to get an NRC, or indeed go to court, they want to find out what processes are there. When we employ people in all these institutions, that is necessary, and that is the way you're going to have policy that takes care of Zambians, not being obsessed with the fact that someone said I'm from Wengwa. Oh no, someone said they put me in a coffin, or someone said I was. That is not important. A person who holds the office of presidency should not be interested in small, minor things. Look at most of the people that are going inside. Look at what Nakachinda is in for right now. For simply speaking, for simply saying things that the government doesn't agree, then you put someone in custody. Your priorities are not correct. You have the police busy following this person who aspires to be president so that he doesn't meet people. But on the other side, properties are getting stolen, security is compromised. When people call the police to say there's a break-in here, the police are saying there's no fuel, but you have enough fuel to follow a politician who is simply saying, I can do better than President Hakainde Hichilema. Let's set our priorities right. Let's set our priorities right. Sydney did refer to me as Thomas Sankara or Ibrahim Traore. As a matter of fact, I actually thought about it. I think thinking that the first visit as president of the Republic of Zambia is to visit my brother Traore. He will be my brother Ibrahim Traore, and see the transformation that he has brought to his country. Now, that is setting the priorities right. Agricultural sector needs to thrive. Our mining sector needs to thrive. See, talking about the mining sector, the Mopani saga is very disheartening. When we got back Mopani under PF, what President Edgar Chagwalungu did is he paid all the suppliers. The only amount that was needed to run Mopani was about $350 million. That is what was needed to inject and run it. We were going to run it as Zambia because we got that 51% of shares. Now we have President Hakainde coming, sells the 51 shares to Delta, Delta working together with Jubilee Metals. If you look at all this saga, you see that the biggest losers are Zambians. Because to sell that 51% shares costed about $630 million. Now, I'll give you this analogy. $630 million was the value of these shares. You say, we sell these shares. You sell the shares, and this person doesn't give you that $630 million. I don't know what interest government has, but I would strongly suggest that this whole transaction is riddled with corruption. The analogy I would give is this. If I come and I say, I want to marry your daughter, I approach my father-in-law to be, and I tell my father-in-law to be, I want to marry you. Then the daughter, or indeed they charge and say, okay, you pay 1 million kwacha. Come and say, okay, here, I'm going to marry your daughter. This 1 million kwacha I'll give you. This 1 million kwacha, I'll be using it to feed your daughter. Does that make sense? It doesn't make all. That money ought to have reflected in our accounts as monies that have been received by the state. The sale of 51% of these shares should have been approved by the National Assembly or indeed by Parliament. And then that investor was supposed to inject the 350 million that was needed to run this mine. But what do? They pick this so-called investor from the streets in Dubai, send the presidential jet to go and pick up the so-called investor. Come here, put a fanfare to say we have found an investor who doesn't even have money to invest in this mine. We have that biggest scandal on an operation that should have been benefiting Zambians. That is daylight theft, that is daylight corruption, and that must be dealt with and condemned for what it is. We need to set our priorities right, and our priorities must be to deal with the economic situation that we have, the warfare of the Zambian, the cost of living that is there. As a matter of fact, there's all these cries by the Zambian people. Younger drivers are crying, listen, the amount we're getting out of this Yango is not sufficient. What is government doing about that? What is government doing about that? I would employ government to make a move to address these issues. The youths are crying. We need empowerment, and yet you have people in the ministry that is supposed to be taking care of youths misusing monies. Out of 100%, 40% disappears suddenly, and no one is taking the blame for it. What government doing to secure the interest of Zambians?
Thank you.
Government is not a place for self-enrichment.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll take the about 6-7 calls, then I'll release my team. It's quite late in Zambia. But we'll then take all your calls because there are so many calls. And you know this platform is about you, the callers. When you turn up, when you show up, we want to give it to you. So let me take about 5, 6, 7 calls that you can ask Honorable Makebi Zulu. Be brief. We allow him to answer. Then we'll release Honorable Makebi Zulu and the team, but they'll be listening in. And then I'll take all the calls. There are so many missed calls. And I feel bad when I haven't when my callers haven't gone through. We want you to go through. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Make your contributions.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. First of all, may I begin to thank you, Ambassador, for this platform that is speaking for the Zambian people. I think mine is not a question per se. I want to speak to Honorable Makebi Zulu, who is our candidate. Honorable Makebi Zulu, as you have seen, this platform has endorsed you and they've spoken well about you as a candidate, and they have given hope to you and hope to the many Zambians. But my contribution to you, Honorable Makebi Zulu, is I'm asking you, can you build a bridge amongst all the candidates? Reach out to them, embrace them, speak to them one by one. Whatever language you are going to use, the Zambian people will not care. What they will care for you, Honorable Makebi Zulu, is to make sure that we bring our party back. The disunity that is there, Honorable Makebi Zulu, you are carrying a cross on your shoulder to make sure that these people around the candidature, they all come and run behind you. Speak to them, open your heart like you have always spoken. I want to encourage you that we are behind you, and the most important thing is talk about unity and act as you speak. Do what you say. Embrace each other. We want this party to remain united. Extend your hand to everyone who has left. Extend your hand to these people that are in the party to make sure that this is now your role from now, that you bridge a gap. Mind you, Honorable Makebi Zulu, that the UPND can only succeed and win in 2026 when we have gone divided. And as much as we can do, if we remain divided, our brothers and sisters will still rot in the jail. Our brothers and sisters will still be in the diaspora, leaving their families in Zambia suffering. So this is the cross that you have to carry. I wish you the best, and Honorable Ambassador Mwamba, please thank you for this platform. May the Lord bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you, MC Simbewe. Thank you for that call. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us contributions.
Good evening, Ambassador. Are you able to get me here?
Yes, we can. Make your contributions.
Okay, Ambassador. My name is Mrs. Anon from the AI Kingdom.
Yes, my dear sister.
Good evening, the incoming president, MZ8. Today, I'm going to say this, and I hope you remember on the 13th of August, and when we come for inauguration, that I've changed my name from Ms. Anon from the Air Kingdom to the abbreviation of cool, smart, and intelligent, which is Madam CSI, because you are a very smart, cool, and intelligent man. And I used to use those words on the former Republican president, Mr. Edgar Chagwanugu. And even today, you carry those attributes as a leader. And I'm so happy behind the team singing and saying our Malukula. Yes, the name that has been used on you as Malukula now means, well, like you said, as a leader, you should have a thick skin so that when people use certain words on you, you use them in a positive way. I'm glad that we use the Malukula word, which meant bad on you, but for a positive meaning for the people of Zambia.
Thank you, my sister.
Just like they said to...
Thank you, my sister. Thank you. There are so many people to call. Thank you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contribution.
Hello, this is Kapia calling from Chicago, the USA.
Yes, Kapia, make your contributions.
Yes, thank you so much, Honorable Mwamba, for the beautiful program. And good evening to the incoming president, my president. As for me and my family, our president is Makebi Zulu. And thank you. So, like others said, it has been my prayer that may the Holy Spirit speak to the leaders of the Patriotic Front to rally behind Makebi Zulu. If I ever tulanda ati ichiweme chiyombero omuchere. These churches say they are doing, they are so unnecessary and very disturbing to us. Ichintu nachilanga balitalika nafe, please lesa basoshe balubinda nabantu benu. May the Holy Spirit take charge and full control. Can you rally behind Makebi Zulu to apapata? Lesa na tupela, he's the chosen one. And sir, the incoming president Makebi, please continue to be firm. Umwelata wa misunkanye. Bamipela mamilioni bamichitire chitafya bombe. You are in for the Zambian people. God has picked on you to liberate Mother Zambia. Mutupusushe kulifyonso for my Zambia ide pitamo. It's you the Lord has given us. And please, Zambians, let us pray for this man. It is not easy for him. Lesa tukumi fwema Zambians tukonkanye pukuba pepere elongani bana mayo. Please, women in Zambia, in Africa, like someone mentioned, the African leadership. Please, ingatwabika pomusepero yumwe bantu bakwalisa twalalubuka ubuchinda migwesu. Our dignity as women will be restored. Na papa tabana mayo, let us rally behind my president Makebi Zulu.
Thank you very much, my sister. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Peter Kashala, calling from Zambia, Lusaka.
Yes, Peter. Make your contribution.
I just have a question for you, Mr. Mwamba. My question goes to Mr. Munduvile. Why is it everyone asked to follow him? Those ask him to be running it. So he has already convinced himself to be a best candidate or what? That's my question.
Sorry, we'll skip that question. Honorable Munduvile is not on this platform and will not answer it. Just ask anything relating to Honorable Makebi Zulu.
Okay. The only thing I can ask Honorable Makebi Zulu is that the same heart he has for the Zambian people, let it be continue.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contributions.
Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. My name is Reynolds Kazeze, and I'd like to say good evening to you and good evening to President Makebi Zulu.
Thank you, Reynolds. Make your contributions.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to make a small remark on I am so happy with the overwhelming wisdom coming from President Makebi Zulu and the fact that he's still young. And he's just observant on what Mr. or President Hakainde Hichilema has been intimidating us who are in the diaspora and saying he's closing in on us. And we see Makebi Zulu as a person who is coming more like, a person who identifies and knows what we're going through. But very quick, I thank you for making that contribution, first of all. And I wanted to talk about this delimitation and the increase of the number of MPs, which is a very economically, like it's injuring to our country. It's a financial burden for our country when at a point when civil servants are not even getting a substantial increment, and the government is looking to expand constituencies. What are you going to do when you come? Because when you're coming in, you're coming to restructure and rebuild from what these people are doing, because we can literally see that their core purpose and so is not to develop Zambia, but just to, beg your pardon?
Sorry, it's another caller. There are so many calls waiting. Please, Reynolds, wind up quickly.
Okay. So, yeah, so what are you going to do about this delimitation and also the Bill 7, which was illegally passed? Are you going to do something about it? And if you're gonna do something about it, please let us know what you intend to do. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Otherwise, we're running behind you. God bless you.
Thank you. Callers, do not despair. I'm opening the phone lines. We will allow Honorable Makebi Zulu to answer the calls that have come so far. Then release the team in Lusaka and Honorable Makebi Zulu, but you'll be able to listen. If there's a critical issues, I still can call him up and he can answer on the phone. So this is how we'll progress. He will answer the calls that we've just given him. He will give his closing remarks, but I will remain for another 30 minutes. We give you an opportunity because there are so many missed calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us you are the last caller in this series before we allow Makebi Zulu to answer. Yeah.
You speaking to Caroline, and I'm endorsing Makebi Zulu.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Today was not endorsements. Today is program, but it's a vote for Honorable Makebi Zulu. Let's bring Honorable Makebi Zulu to answer those. And like I said, this is how we progress. All those that we're calling, do not worry. I'm going to take as many calls as possible. Let's just allow Honorable Makebi Zulu to answer. He gives his closing remarks, but he will remain on the phone. Then we pick your calls because there are so many and we don't want you to miss.
Iwe Makebi wila sakamana twali kutemwa ifwe imitema mwil sakamana nangu valende ati noti uyu ifwe niwe botule fwaya nangu bengesho kusalula no kukusula iwe niwe na Zambia po Makebi yeo tufwaya Makebi sakamana twalikutemwa ifwe twalimitema mwil sakamana.
Makebi, your supporter says they love you. We love Sakamana. They'll soldier with you. Please pick up the calls and give us your closing remarks. Then we go back to the callers. There are so many callers that are calling, and this forum is about your voice. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was a surprise song. I've never heard it before. I was just laughing and wondering, okay, people can be quick. The first comment was from MC Simbewe, who's saying I must be able to bridge the gap and embrace all the other candidates. I must assure you, MC Simbewe, that there is no candidate within the Patriotic Front Party that I've not had a discussion with as regards the need of bringing everyone together and the need of all of us working together. And you say it when you say we need to embrace everyone else, but we have gone beyond the party and also engaging other stakeholders or other members of other parties, because what we're fighting for is not in the interest of one person. It is in the interest of it is in the interest of Zambia. We owe Zambia that much. Zambia does not owe us anything. We who are in Zambia are privileged to be in this piece of land called Zambia. And by the time we're leaving it, by the time we're sitting in that coffin, the question that we leave behind is, what did we leave behind? What legacy did we leave behind? We come with a clean slate, believe it's either a good or bad legacy that we leave behind. Mrs. Anon of AI Kingdom says she will now be called Mrs. CSI, cool, smart, and intelligent. Thanks for that compliment. I appreciate compliment, but it did not get to my head. I will choose to accept it as it is, and pray that indeed God grants me the wisdom, the courage, the confidence, and the right attributes to be able to stick to the words that I say to the Zambian people, and together with the team that we're putting together to be able to meet the aspirations of the Zambian people. Because leadership is from God. And when God gives you that position, you are there as a steward. You need to account for what you have done in that particular position. And when you know that you're answerable to God, what man does to you really doesn't. You look to a higher power and you're able to answer to a higher power. Reynald, what you say is really important. Though the president says he's closing in on those that are in the diaspora who may have issued disparaging remarks against himself, I say that is not priority. That is not important. As a fact, the cyber laws that are being used were intended just for that. Zambians back home here have kept quiet, and the government thinks that is an endorsement as to their leadership style. They've kept quiet because you have threatened them with these so-called cyber laws. Cyber laws have made you deaf and hear the cry of the people. People are only talking about these issues on their kitchen tables. Zambians are not happy today. And you even go ahead on that wound that has been opened, wounds of being desperate, wounds of poverty. You even go ahead and adding salt to the wounds. You don't do that. What you do is you have to approach the Zambian people with mano sana. You have to approach the Zambian people with wisdom sana. And all these can only come from God. We have to depend on God to give us the wisdom to commandeer the future of this country in a way that responds to the needs of the Zambian people. This process, this delimitation process, you are right that we are not prioritizing our civil servants. We want to create over 100 new jobs for members of parliament. You have to buy vehicles for them. You have to give them allowances. You have to expand the National Assembly. What about that civil servant who only needs just that debt swap? The idea of a debt swap was a very good idea that the PF came with. The moment UPND got into power, what did they do? They scrapped, leaving our civil servants in dire straits. Why don't you swap the debt and give them some form of relief? You are giving them 700 kwacha, and yet you have increased the seats to over 100 in the National Assembly. It's not cheap to have a member of parliament. You want to create seats for members of parliament to superintend over persons that are impoverished. Monies that ought to have been used or to go towards the betterment of the lives of the civil servants, to increase their salaries to a better place, you are creating jobs for politicians. Why are we prioritizing politicians at the expense of civil servants? Do you hear the cry of civil servants? Have they showed you their pay slips? You think it is irresponsible that they borrow. No, it has got nothing to do with irresponsibility. It's because they have to put in all their time. and they don't have time to do other issues or indeed to raise an extra income, that they have to borrow. They have to borrow because government has not acknowledged that what they are doing is very important for the running of government. Why advertising politicians at the expense of civil servants? Why don't you implement this debt swap that is going to give them some instant relief that is there? Why are you not paying even the loans that they've gotten? You deduct from them, and yet you are not remitting the money to the institutions that they borrowed from. And those institutions are busy bothering the civil servants. The suicide rates are only going up because people are heavily indebted. Civil servants are heavily indebted. Can't you prioritize this? Can't you see that there's a cry that they need a person that will give them, and that is the hope that we're giving them, because you have failed to give them that hope. The hope that we will take care of them, the hope that we will implement debt swap, the hope that we will increase their salary to reflect the cost of living that is currently obtaining. Why are they not benefiting from the so-called gains of the kwacha? Why isn't the transport sector benefiting from the so-called reduction in fuel prices? What has happened to the promises that you made to the Zambian people that you would take care of them? Because you said, how can you be going for work when you're hungry? How can you sustain yourself or indeed keep your job or work effectively when you're hungry? The same question is coming to you as you said when you're in the opposition. But not all is lost. There is hope for every Zambian. And we speak this from a place of love. President Hakainde Hichilema, I must assure you that I love you. And the reason we are coming is to help you run government by considering what is priority, whilst we respect you as the former head of state. Of course, you will come and learn from your experiences. We will come and ask from you how best you did certain things that you did good, and where you think you have failed, what you could have done better, and also learn from you. But for now, we're saying we love you. We know that you are going to be a very good former president who will be respected in every way. But for now, we're saying let's come together. Let us rebuild our country. Let us bring all regions together. Let us bring all tribes together. Let us bring everyone together. Let us consider everyone as important. The idea or the politics of victimization of personalities needs to come to an end. And what we're going to bring in is something that is going to be a breath of fresh air to the Zambians, where we'll prioritize the Zambians. We'll have laws that are going to respect the Zambian people. And Ronald Kazeze, you do well when you say, what are you going to do? Cyber laws, these must be repealed to respect the Zambian people's right to speak. The constitution, it must be amended to reflect the times. We must broaden the rights of the people. We must have human rights approach towards development. Not every government coming in to say we have given you water and it's a favor that we're doing you. No, that water must be given to you as a right. That health must come to you as a right. That education must come to you as a right and not as a favor. And we're committed to doing just that. And that is what we promise to do for the Zambian people. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, and everybody that tuned in.
Can you end your presence with your gavel?
Oh yes, I certainly will end, but I have to thank everyone that tuned in and watched, and tell them I love you, God bless you, and have a pleasant night. My gavel goes. Yes,
Thank you. God bless you. To our dear viewers, we are still on. We'll take your calls, and will remain on the phone to pick your to answer you if they will be, to allow the technical team around him to safely transition and go home. So when I come back, we take your phone lines for those that we're calling. Let's start the
sakamana twalikute mwaifu.
Hello, let's take your calls now. For those that couldn't go through earlier, your line is open. Honorable Makebi Zulu will be listening in by phone, although we've allowed the studio team to park and reach home safely. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contributions.
Good evening, Ambassador. Good evening, President Makebi Zulu. This is Mwilan Sama.
Thank you, Mwilan Sama. Make your contributions.
First, I would like to congratulate you on the award, the international award. I also want to congratulate Honorable Makebi Zulu for the countrywide mobilization, because I was one of the people who really cried for him to go around the country.
Thank you.
But there's one thing that he needs to do. He needs to enhance his presidential team. Honorable Makebi Zulu he will have to understand he's a very good candidate, but he needs enough people to surround him. People who are surrounding him shows a picture of his cabinet, and people surrounding him are not good enough. Okay, not as individuals, they are good as politicians, they are very good, but the number is too minimal. Nothing against the people around him, they are good politicians, but he needs a good number. We need to see the picture of his cabinet by the people following him.
Thank you, Honorable Makebi Zulu. They want you to enhance the team. Honorable Makebi Zulu has spoken about a lot of things. First of all, he says President Hakainde Hichilema will be the most respected former head of state to be sent to international assignment as a former head of state, to monitor elections, to conduct in peace. He says he will not repeat what was done to Chiluba, to Rupia Banda, what was done to Edgar Lungu. He says that is priority number one. He says currently the term salt is adding salt to wounds of poverty, wounds of unemployment, wounds, attacks against democracy. He's made a special appeal to his dear brother, Honorable Brian Munduvile. He says he's made a passionate appeal for Honorable Brian Munduvile to come back home, to come back to the fold. And he says unity will be required only when Honorable Brian Munduvile comes home. The PF cannot follow Brian Munduvile. He should follow the PF. He's made a passionate appeal to President Hakainde Hichilema to resolve the issues of civil servants. We've seen them preoccupied by issues of mental health, suicides, and this can be resolved by implementing the area debt reschedule, debt management that was done. If the country can be given debt reschedule and debt program, what about individuals? Honorable Makebi Zulu is asking for that. On unity of the opposition, he says he's reaching out to his colleagues in the opposition and he wants them to continue to work together and is open to that. Those are some of the things Honorable Makebi Zulu said. Make your contribution. The lines are open. Let's hear from you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Good evening.
Thank you. My name is Christopher Msoni.
Christopher Msoni, make your contributions.
Yes, mine is a question, and I would really love to get an answer from you. I don't know how he's going to do it now that he's gone.
Yeah, no, he's not gone. We will reach him by phone if it's very urgent.
Okay, yeah. I've listened to how Mr. Makebi is answering questions, and from what I've heard, it's not something that I've not heard about. I can tell that Mr. Makebi Zulu's vision is something that is aligned with President Kalava's vision. A number of things that Mr. Makebi Zulu has outlined, has talked about, something that Dr. Hali Kalava has already talked about. Which I was prosecuting our incoming former President Hakainde Hichilema. President Kalava is on the record where he's talked about the plight of younger drivers. He's talked about our youths, the minings, giving the mines back to Zambians. A number of things that President Hali Kalava has already talked about, the things that Makebi Zulu was also talking about. So my question to Makebi Zulu is that would he be willing to work with President Kalava, considering that these people are sharing visions except that President Kalaba is more experienced than Zulu. Why I say so? Because President Kalaba is one someone who served as a civil, worked as a civil servant. He's spontaneous. He's not worked as a deputy minister in the president of in the office of the vice president. He also served as a home affairs foreign affairs minister. He was appointed by late President Michael Chikusasata and also by late President Edgar Chagwalugu. May their souls rest in peace. So he served as an MP in Bahati. So President Kalaba being more experienced than Makebi Zulu, and then these were sharing visions. Would Makebi Zulu be willing to work under President Kalaba?
Thank you very much. Would Honorable Makebi Zulu be willing to work under Honorable Hari Kalaba? That's your question. We'll forward it to him. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Prince, and I'm calling you from Belgium.
Prince, make your contributions.
What I want to say is that I'm very tonight that I've heard a lot of presentations that Makebi Zulu has brought forward, and those are serious concerns that the Zambian people are having in their hands. A number of questions have been answered through his earlier mid statements. So not to ask a question, but to just say Makebi Zulu has all the support. If he has to work with other people, then at least he has to find someone who's aligned with what he's talking about, and at least must be maybe considered as a running mate. But it's better we have Makebi Zulu for president. Thank you.
There's an opportunity for you to call. Many people couldn't go through during the broadcast, the main broadcast. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contributions.
Hello, good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
Okay, you're speaking to Vanengi from Northwestern Province.
Yes, my dear sister, make your contributions.
Yes. I just wanted to say the path which MZ has chosen is one of the most demanding journeys a person can undertake. So as you aspire for the highest office, you should always remember that the true measure of a leader is not found in popularity of their decisions, but in their commitment of doing what is right, even when it is difficult. So I would want him to say with humanity, lead with integrity and purpose, and his vision should require action. He should not build bridges, no, not even walls, and he should embrace resilience. So my final thought is, as he works towards the high noble goal, he should begin by making a difference in his own neighborhood. Save with compassion, act with courage, and never forget that true power lies in the empowering of others. He's dreaming big and he's working hard. MZ8 for 2026, August 13. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're from and make your contributions.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Oh, yeah. My name is Charles right here in Orlando, Florida. Yeah. I think Makebi is a good person, but I want these things to sink in. First of